Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us. We are on the Town Hall Get to Know broadcast. I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us here. Yes, it's a great evening and it's Monday and it's the beginning of the week, and we're pretty excited tonight to have a very special guest. Actually, her name is Layla Love. If you've seen the promotions that we've been putting out, this is going to be a very powerful message that we're talking about tonight. The first thing that I want to mention to you is that this is not content for young children, period. So if you've got little kids, please have them go to another room. This is actually pretty. It's some pretty tough stuff here that we're going to be talking about, and so I just want you to know, have your kids go to another room, and you can talk to them about this after this because that's what the idea is. Bottom line is we're talking with Layla tonight, and the main focus tonight is going to be about human trafficking. And so I want to tell you a little bit about Layla. I've gotten to know Layla here over the last several weeks. I was introduced to her by Dr. Jenny Wilkins, our medical director for the LWN Foundation. And this broadcast, by the way, is brought to you by LWN Live with Nature Foundation and the LWN Media Productions. We are excited to have her. We are joining forces. This is a big deal. This is like a kickoff here. And I want you to stay tuned with us. Please do stay tuned because we are talking about some great, powerful, educational, informational stuff tonight, and about this plan that we have with respect to supporting those that are survivors of human trafficking. So, Layla has been engaged with human emotions for and relations for a long time. She, at the age of 7 years old, got her first camera from her mother, and she loved it. And so she moved a lot as a young child, and photography became a means of the way that she kept her memories of her friends. She traveled a whole lot, doing photographs all around the world. And as she became immersed as being a humanitarian, she was giving aid to people all around the country for about 2 years, 20 years, excuse me. So, as a student, she was offered her first photojournalism job to travel to West Africa with an anthropologist, and that assignment led her to travel for 5 more years to war torn regions and focusing her work on the plight of women. Women would mutilate themselves, literally, and their children in order to escape slavery and prostitution. The desperate sacrifices have stuck with her throughout her artistic career. For this reason, she's only depicts women and children in her art. For this, okay, reading the second line again. These experiences greatly informed her work and fueled her passion to abolish child trafficking, trafficking in general, and it charts a path from darkness to redemption, aiming to shock people into action, confronting people with stark images of slavery and desecration alongside elevated visions of liberated female defined sexuality. She aims to define the variable experience of being a woman. She Her work has been showcased in some of the finest galleries in the world. And in 2016, she was being mentored by feminist icon Gloria Steinem. You may have heard of her. And Gloria and her founded Rise of the Butterfly. And that's what the name of tonight's show is Rise of the Butterfly, and we're going to be talking about that and how that is related to human trafficking. It's a nonprofit foundation that she founded with Gloria, and it's officially launched her gallery show in Chelsea, New York, and the collection included over 70 pieces of artwork. So currently, she's working on a tableside book, and without further ado, what I'd like to do is this. I'd like to show you this video. And if like I said, if the kids are watching, please have them go in another room. So let's go ahead and show that video. Viewers, please be warned. It's considered shocking, okay, to some people. And it discusses human trafficking in detail. So be warned. You might have a problem with sound, Randy. Thank you. Thank you for watching that. I understand that we might have had some audio issues. It wasn't very loud, and I apologize for that. If you want to watch that video, that was on YouTube, Rise of the Butterfly. Please go and take a look at that. It is a powerful video. We'll try and get the audio corrected next time around. But without further ado, I would really love to bring in the beautiful and the very talented Layla Love.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm honored to be here with you.
Yes, thank you very much. There we go. Oh, we like that extra music. Thank you for joining us this evening, Layla. I am so pleased and honored that you are here with us. Um, how are you doing today, Layla?
I am doing well. It's a rainy day here. We're just getting the time to be inside and have this incredible conversation that I think is very important, especially in this moment in time where all of us are becoming more aware.
That's what we're talking about tonight, folks, is raising awareness. We're talking about the fact that human trafficking is a very serious crime. There's not a lot of attention paid to it. It's a situation that's taking place in our streets, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. Layla wants to put a stop to it. I've joined Layla to help her and raise that awareness. By the way, everybody, I want you to join us on next Sunday, October 18th. We are having a 2 hour live streaming special on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple, and Android TV. And that's through the E360 TV application. You can download that and watch us on our smart TV. We've got a panel of experts, including Layla. And Layla, you're going to be on that panel. And I really appreciate the fact that Dr. Jenny has connected us and that we're going to be talking about this in more detail, in serious depth on Sunday.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I'm excited about that for sure. Um, I also want to let everybody know this might be a little bit pretentious, but I want everybody to be aware of this. We've got big plans, and part of that plans is to raise funds for the survivors of human trafficking. And you have the opportunity to be able to donate through the LWN Foundation website tonight or as quickly as you can, if you will. And when you do that donate, put a little note on there and put Layla's first name, Layla, Layla, and 50%, and I kid you not, 50% of every dollar that you donate is going to go right to Layla to help support survivors of human trafficking. Because it's about taking care of these people based on the fact that they even survived this horrible thing. Now, Layla, not thing, it's a horrible situation. It's a travesty. And so we want to raise the awareness and put a stop to it. Layla, you've done
Yeah.
a lot of dynamic stuff in your life. You traveled a lot. What was the epiphany for you as you were traveling and something clicked and you just said, boy, I want to do something about this? Maybe you can tell the viewers about that.
Um, well, I think that there are ways that all of us are meant to be contributing in the world, that it's just the rent we pay for being here on this beautiful planet to balance things out. I think everybody should be doing service. So I went out and started doing all different sorts of service projects. And this one really resonated with me for a number of reasons. One, I think it's probably the most horrible situation to be in if you're alive,
Yeah, I can
and
I
so
can't
it's like
imagine.
going into the darkest corners of our society and the place where nobody wants to look. And if you can shine light in that corner, then maybe it lights up the whole room a little more, and we can remember that life is precious and life is sacred, and human beings are not commodities to be bought and sold.
No, no, they aren't. And we need to be concerned about our children because I think that the one of the statistics is it's what, from about 10 to about 17 years old approximately, that would be the main focus and target of these predators. Um, and so we have to think about our children. And so we're going to go into more depth about education and the things
I
that
mean,
we.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but it is a pandemic. It is a huge global epidemic issue. And it is definitely happening in America. It's definitely happening in the town where you're listening to this. Unfortunately, it's become the second largest black market crime in the world. And that's unacceptable. And so, yeah, we all need to come together and work to bring solutions to this situation. There's so many different solutions.
Right. And that's actually part of the broadcast on Sunday. That's this month on the 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is called What is Human Trafficking? It's answers, it's awareness, and it's prevention. Because it is our responsibility, Layla. You're correct to do something about this and to serve our communities and to protect our children and put a stop to these guys that are literally destroying these people that they have abducted, destroying their life.
And not just their life, but the lives of their family, the lives in their community, the lives of their wives and children when they find out. You know, like, you're crushing everything around you.
Yes, I'm learning more about it as we move along here, and it is quite devastating. I mean, the fact is that, like I was reading something today, it can be as simple a situation as you're proud of your kids, they're going back to school, you took pictures of them, you posted it up on Facebook because you're proud of your kids, they're going back to school. And somebody had friended you and they found out the location, you got to the school, you took a picture there, they found out what the location is, you go to pick your kid up from school and your child is missing, period. I mean, it can be simple as that. So we need to be very careful, I think, about who we let into our lives. Do you think that that would be something that we need to be very concerned about, strangers, Layla?
I think the number one thing we need to be concerned about is educating our children right away, because most of the things happen online now. The majority of the fishing and the hunting, there's still some on the streets, but the primary hunting ground right now is online. And so I think parents and children may not realize that that can be even more dangerous than anything else, you
Well,
know?
I agree with you, Layla, because I have a granddaughter. She's 15 years old, and what I see happening is that the kids are influenced by people behind a computer screen with uh, it might seem like a glorious bio, but the fact of the matter is these people aren't even real, and then they entice them by being kind to them. Oh, meet me in the park or something and I'll give you something, or gosh knows what kind of tactics, probably anything you can think of, they use to lure our kids away. And I know for myself that only by the grace of God did my granddaughter not get abducted that day when she met somebody in a park that she didn't know from online. So that's part of it too. We need to monitor their internet and their use.
Definitely, I think, and just make them aware that there are beautiful, healthy people in the world, but there are also predators, and like, give them a balanced understanding, because I think a lot of parents go one way or the other.
Right.
And we have to realize that there are still good-hearted, kind, amazing people, and there are predators. So we have to get stronger in our community of people that we trust, and how to have these conversations and really come together and heal the whole situation. Like, I think at the baseline, like, a lot of the success that different programs I've seen have been having on a grassroots level is there was this one woman, for example, who went to a brothel in Houston. Houston, Texas is unfortunately the largest hub in this country. And so she would go and photograph the license plates of the Johns that would go in, who are really rapists, because they're going into children's rooms and thinking for some reason that they can separate this from the rest of their lives, that they can still be a teacher, cop, a good husband, and doing this atrocity. And there's some disconnect here where I really hope that the fabric of our community and our moral understanding can grow through these conversations as well, because we have to take precautions, but we also have to solve the root poison. You know, there's a poison in our society where people think greed or capitalism, like with money they can buy anything, like even a child. You know, it's I keep having tears run down my face because it's just I wish for this world to be a better place, and I know we're working towards that, and all the people who are listening to this are also working towards that.
They are, and we're inviting them to become part of this movement, to raise this awareness and to try and put a stop to it. That's the whole point. I am 100% all in on this deal. I really am. And that's why we're doing this. And like I had mentioned, this is like a kickoff here to a 2-hour special that we're having, but it's all going to be leading to a fundraiser, a main fundraiser that we'll be holding, the LWN Live with Nature Foundation, in December. In the meantime, though, I want everybody to know that if they donate tonight to the LWN Foundation, you can go to our website, to the donate page. 50% of every dollar that you donate to the LWN Foundation will go directly to Layla and Rise of the Butterfly, which support these human trafficking survivors. And so you're going to start helping. And we also have her artwork available, and you also have a clothing line as well. So Layla, tell us about your artwork and your clothing line and how that became a vehicle for you to raise awareness and raise funds for the survivors.
Absolutely. Well, I was inspired by organizations like, there's an organization in Oahu that we're going to work with called Pearl Haven, that does integrative health for survivors. And I learned from my mentor, Peggy Callahan, who runs an organization, Voices for Freedom. And just what I learned in looking at all sides of trafficking is that when survivors are freed, not most, but it's really extremely hard to get back on your feet with the very little help that's available right now. And so it's such a heavy topic that most people feel uncomfortable. So I make artwork that juxtaposes that, like the most beautiful, best case scenario of freedom and beauty and strength and resilience. And then, you know, show that there is this other possibility, that we can support people coming out of this darkness, because life is about transformation and becoming a better and better person. And so we're here to walk each other home or help each other through that journey. So yeah, my artwork also saved me. It's like a form of art therapy and healing to transform my own struggles and my own, you know, traumas that I've seen and experienced along the way, and then to share it in a way, you know, that allows us to give back to people instead of just asking for donations. It's like, well, here's artworks, here's shows, here's how you can share your voice. And now because of COVID, so there isn't the ability to do many shows, which has been my primary. Well, in my whole life, I've done over 100 shows, so I'm like always doing shows, and so I suddenly haven't been able to do shows, and so instead I decided to create a eco-friendly, sustainable clothing line that creates wearable art, lets us be billboards for change, let us use our own body to be part of the solution. And so I thought it was something more inclusive and very affordable, and I still made sure everybody's getting fair wages and there's not child labor used, and it's like all made in Northern America, or these different elements. The dyes are all environmental. So, I want to help trafficking, but I think the most important goal is that we just become able to support these women. Like the woman just said, only 5% of the people are going to. I mean, it's just like, could you imagine anything worse than being in hell, being freed, and then now they're taking women from jail because anyone can write letters to prisoners, and somebody has to come pick up a woman from jail. So and the women are going in from minor offenses or for being trafficked. They're going in as prostitutes, and then their traffickers come pick them up again. And so there's so many terrible things that are like need to be changed for this to work. We need housing, we need shelters. Like the Voices for Freedom works and has a 5-year recovery program. Some places give 2 years of safe housing, but there's not enough of them. I mean, we have over 1 million children, like sometimes very young children, like.
Yes. Well, I saw that in the comments.
From infancy.
As low as 4, and I just wanted to clarify this for everybody too. Jody Parr is one of the panelists on our What is Human Trafficking special on TV coming on Sunday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. She is a human trafficking survivor, and she's going to be sharing her story as well with us. She is an advocate, just as you are, Layla, for helping those people that are survivors and for sharing the story and trying to let people know, like you have said, there is light, even though we go through some dark stuff. And one of the things I just immediately clicked on is you said there's a 5-year program. What I recognize is this: in transformational change, that it can take a very, very long time, and that we need to be patient with that transformation, but that those people need that support for an extended period of time in some cases to be able to get their life back together and become integral again in the community, because there's a lot of thinking stuff that's going on in our brains. And I say this from my aspect, which was the drugs and alcohol, to have to change that. I had a lot of things I had to change that I was thinking about. Part of that was being, dealing with what I had done. I want to go to this, if you don't mind. I want to ask you your opinion here. Were you aware that President Trump had instituted a commission to study human trafficking, and that it's apparently unprecedented? And do you think that President Trump is moving in the right direction when it comes to human trafficking? How do you feel about that? Tough question.
Yeah, because I feel a multitude of ways, and I think I do my best to just stay in a bipartisan place on this situation, because I think human trafficking is something that affects every person, and that the foundation of America is united we stand, divided we fall. So I really believe in this country, and I think there's a lot of good things that are happening right now. and we need to continue to illuminate this situation like it is being illuminated right now. I think
Well,
it
does
is unprecedented, and it is there's a lot more to be done, but with Epstein and everything that happened, it's definitely something that's penetrated the mainstream media and household consciousness now for the first time almost.
Well, the mainstream media won't broadcast that news, but it is unprecedented that he is taking steps in order to bring it to light, whereas no previous administration has ever done anything like that.
And
and I think people need facts, and they need action steps and how to be involved, because you can't learn about something so atrocious and not want to take action. Like, that's my prayer right now, is that as all these people are learning about it, that they do something, a small something, a big something. Like, I mean, there's sorry, I was just reading one of the comments.
Okay, so we'll read this. And Jody, thank you for your comment. And we're not trying to get all political about this, because it isn't politics. It's about unity here. That's what we're talking about. But
yeah, I mean, right now people are learning about this, and so how do we create solutions and raise funds for these people and build safe houses and work together?
Well, that's what we are doing, Layla, and that's why we've been collaborating with you. You've already been doing it, and you've been doing it for a while. You just, as a matter of fact, in New York, displayed your art. You had an art show just recently, didn't you? That where people actually could come out and look at your art, and then
I actually still have an art show hanging in New York currently. And it's about like survival in the pandemic and living in the pandemic. And I just had a show 2 weeks ago where I sold art that was donated to devices and technology for underprivileged children, with a gallery that I'm working with called Inside Art Space with Catherine Testroff. And the other show was created by Anthony Hayden Guest. But yeah, I always try and work with the art having a service element. So I feel like art paired with purpose loses its ego, that you can create and do all the art you want. I can, make a whole clothing line just out of passion, because that you're creating to save lives. And what could be cooler than that?
I think it's just so awesome what you're doing, and I'm really looking forward to our broadcast on Sunday, and we're planning to have all of the panelists, by the way, on this Get to Know a broadcast. And if you didn't know already, folks, this show is about a show of people making a positive impact in their communities, and that's exactly what Layla is doing. That's exactly what Jody Parr is doing, and so many others. And so we're going to really try and address it, and we're going to get pretty hardcore on Sunday. So we want you to join us for that. I think what we're going to do right now is maybe go just to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with you. So stay tuned. Don't go away, or you're going to miss something that's really important.
Thank you.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it. It had deep pitting in it. There were chips. I, quite frankly, thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
All right. Thank you, Total Coatings, for supporting and sponsoring this broadcast. We appreciate you. Layla, so awesome. We're talking tonight, folks, about human trafficking. We're talking about preventing human trafficking, education. We're talking about the fact that you can purchase Layla's artwork as well as her clothing. And those clothes are really pretty dynamic there, Layla. I just tell you. Wow.
I had an amazing time doing it. It was my first time creating a clothing line, and now we're already creating the second season, and we're going to do all the pieces are limited edition. So there's like this feeling of specialness. And I mean, a lot of love went into the creative process, and I'm working with a really incredible team. I work with a team called She Theory, and they're a supportive group of women where we do branding and marketing and all of the different elements that will take this to a national and international level. Like, we want to join forces. Like, we're just here.
It's a worldwide issue.
Yeah.
You know, we all care here in America about our kids and what's happening. And it's not just kids, by the way, folks. It's not. Anytime somebody's forcing you to do something that you don't want to do, whether it's work related or whether it's sexually related, and it's against your will, or you had to be kidnapped. You didn't have to be kidnapped. I mean, you were kidnapped, which is such a shame. And forced to do things, and then what happens is these kids get abducted, whisked away, and drugged, and so they can't even get away from it, and then they end up on drugs, addicted to the drugs, and just a life of I've just got to imagine absolute misery. We're trying to raise the awareness, folks, and you can help. You can donate through the LWN Foundation, as well as you can purchase these products through Layla's website, LaylaLoveArt.com, and purchase any of the products. Now, I understand, you're giving all the profits or a portion of the profits through Rise of the Butterfly. Maybe you can explain that to survivors of people that have experienced human trafficking.
Yes, so we are doing that in two different ways. One, we are in a art activist hub called Creative Vision. So they have a 20-year track record of impeccable work with incredible initiatives. And so it's an honor to have that foundation. So when people donate, they do all the tax deduction papers and keep all the minutes and everything we need to be transparent and legitimate in those senses. And then from there, so there's two things we're doing. One, we're donating half of the overall proceeds from Rise of the Butterfly to other nonprofits, either directly through money that we bring in or through sharing the store with them and the artwork, or giving it to them for, pre-COVID, I would donate a lot of different pieces to galas and fundraisers and things like that.
Now you can, and I might have this one wrong here. Now you can go, folks, directly to Layla's website and to her store and purchase these items. And so that they know that you heard it on this show, they're supposed to put in LWN 10. Is that what they're supposed to put?
Yeah.
Promo code?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's LWN 10 that you just you choose whatever you would like, and then when you're checking out, you can just, there's a button that pops up that says put in your discount code, and that will give you 10% off, and it will ensure that half of the proceeds will go to support LWN. So we want to make these reciprocal win-win situations here that are cooperative rather than competitive, because I think that's how we're going to have a larger impact. So this is like my offering, like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, we can all bring something to the table.
Exactly. And so that's a beautiful thing. The LWN Live with Nature Foundation is a nonprofit. And the breaking news, we don't have the 501c3 certification letter yet back from the IRS, but it is filed with the IRS, and we hope to get it back very soon. And once we do, any of these donations we'll keep track of, and you can get a receipt that is a tax deductible receipt. So plan on that as well. This is not only tax deductible, but you're helping people that have had to go through an extreme traumatic situation. Remember, of course, to join us next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on October 18th. We have a panel, including people like Layla. She's going to be sharing again. We've got Jason Cisneros. We've got Dr. Jenny. We've got Dr. Sophie Nubani. We have, if I didn't say it, Jody Parr. Yeah, we love you too very much, Jody. We also have Dr. Bob Choate. We're hoping to have someone from law enforcement as well. Certainly Bob is going to speak to that aspect too. He was LAPD. So together, we're going to raise this awareness. We're going to raise some funds for these survivors. And we want to educate you about how to help us and just help your community put a stop to this stuff. How do you feel, Layla, a person could be proactive in helping their community with respect to this?
There's many ways. First, also, if you go to riseofthebutterfly.com, you can see the video that you showed at the beginning there on the homepage. And also there's a video from an interview that I did with Fox News in New York for the show, so that you can learn a little more about the events and things that we do. We've worked with Athletes Against Violence in the New York Ballet. I've had the honor of showing with Warhol and Picasso and these sorts of people who really, I mean, those people aren't alive anymore, but they're still inspiration and powerhouses. And so, yeah, I really have done those things to bring the exposure, and you can bring the exposure now yourself. Yeah. As easy as doing social media posts about it as a starting place, and then you can see what nonprofits are in your community, or you can come work with our nonprofit. And there's also ways of seeing, I think in bus stops and Greyhounds is one of the number one hunting grounds, and I think we need to put billboards and we need to put safety cards like they do in an airplane in the back of each seat, because literally over 80% of the runaways that get on a Greyhound are trafficked within 48 hours. I mean, it's like people have to realize that our children are being hunted, and hunted. Even from their schools, even from the most elite areas, they're shipping virgins abroad for crazy amounts of ridiculous, gross blood money, and it's just a travesty.
I was just gonna say, you said blood money, and it is blood money, and literally, folks, blood money.
Nobody should be okay with it. Whatever the billion Johns that there are in the world, I mean, it's insane. There's 40 million people estimated to be trafficked in the world right now, which is more than any other time in our history. Like, as a culture, as a society, we're meant to be getting better. And we're not getting better with these sorts of statistics. So, like, how do we keep having these discussions and find ways to heal and to be better humans? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just completely unacceptable.
Well, you're right. It is unacceptable. And so raising the awareness and then working on educating our kids and talking to our children about um, the dangers that are involved of being potentially lured. But sometimes I guess that this can happen like in the flash of an instant. And the next thing you know, the kid's walking down the street and they get thrown into a car and off they go. And it's
That's
like, wow.
true, but it's a lot less percentage of that and
Okay.
much more of the subtle luring. And I think because movies are primarily showing the grab and go cases, which are real and which are the most unavoidable, but there's 80% of them that are done through online or through families or through grooming. And so that's where we need to educate people the most, because like I said, like really having those conversations with your children when they're going online. Some of these guys, I mean, they'll be messaging a girl for months up to a year. And they'll romance her and they'll buy her gifts. Like if you notice your daughter coming home with something that she didn't have money for, that's like alarm bell number one.
Right.
And a lot of these children don't feel they can turn to their parents too, or that they're like have to have these secret separate lives. And so really loving your children and staying in communication is step number one, and it does happen to adults and all sorts of different people, but we're here just to educate each other.
Yeah, and adults are in a little bit different situation as far as, well, certainly physically maybe, but also mentally, hopefully, to be able to make a better choice. But people, I mean, this pandemic.
Well, I mean, it's not a choice. That's why it's human trafficking. Like often once they'll tell a person, oh, you can come here and be an au pair or a nanny or a house cleaner or work in a restaurant. Like in Hawaii, it's the number 8th place in America. And they just tell these girls in Russia, we just helped get 3 girls out from Russia last week on a small island in Hawaii where the girls literally have zero intention of being in the sex industry. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, within 24 hours, they're drugged and raped and beaten, and their families, they say they're going to kill your mother and your sister and your brother, and they will. I mean, and wherever possible, they take away any ID that you may have. It's really intense. It's not.
It is incredible, and one of our panelists on Sunday, Jason Cisneros, he takes this very, very seriously, and I want to just in advance thank Jason for being a part of this panel. He goes all over the globe to rescue people that have been taken hostage in the human trafficking trade. And he definitely is going to be able to share with us some excellent insight because he just says, no, we're putting a stop to this and we're going to get our kids back, period. I really appreciate the fact that we're talking about this stuff. I mean, I have to be honest. I'm learning and growing as a result of deciding that this is so important to me that I put it as a focus from now to the end of the year is to raise awareness and to help raise money with you and Rise of the Butterfly to help people that have survived and to get as much information from an educational standpoint out to the viewers, because we might be a voice, but we need everybody to join up with us and help us and say something to their kids, like Layla said, and to tell their neighbors and to be more aware and to stay alert. And particularly, I think, like you said, 80% is happening because of online. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. And we have, I guess I wanted to say that, okay, I'll come back to that. I guess we got a question from Jody Smith. What was the percentage again of runaways on a bus?
I think the percentage is, I've read a few different reports, but it says, I mean, it's so hard to exactly tell because it's an underground crime, but from reported statistics, we're looking at like over 80% of these kids. I mean, it's it's the number one place where children are being plucked from because the kidnappers, aka traffickers, they know exactly what they're looking for. You can tell when a kid is coming off a bus alone and they're lost and they're scared and they're excited. And you just have to cater to that need in them, and that's their science. And it's it's such a huge industry that there's huge networks of people involved. So we, as the people who want to stand up to this injustice, have to be willing to come together as organized as they have been.
Well, and you said bus stations, and I just didn't really realize that. And we were talking about that the other day, about how bus stations are like one of the main targets, clearly, and how you want to put awareness billboards up and put things on the buses and bring up that awareness. And I think that that's a fabulous idea. Absolutely. I'm very excited about that. I mean, I know the bus stations aren't the safest place in the universe. They aren't.
No, yeah, but these are our most vulnerable people, and a society should be judged on how it treats its most vulnerable people. And so right now we're failing because we're glorifying the billionaires on the covers of magazines and not giving voice to these voiceless people. And it's a crime against ourselves. It's a crime against our humanity, and we can just all come together and do better. Like, I really truly believe people want to be good in their heart, and there's so many of us that want that good and love our families and our children and our community. And so, yeah, it's like a calling. It's a time for us to come together.
It is. The time is now. Absolutely, 100%. And we do need to pull together and be united on this, regardless of whether we may agree with each other on other issues. What's important here is that I think that we can all agree on the fact that our kids are important to us, and anybody that's involved in trafficking in any manner, because there's different ways. This obviously can be slave labor, but it is modern slavery, no matter what it is, and or being forced to be in prostitution. And then getting them hooked up on drugs. We've got to support and help these people pull themselves back out, because there is an opportunity, because we have people like Layla, who I am so blessed to be able to be in partnership with here with Rise of the Butterfly. It's very powerful situation that we're facing right now, to be able to make a difference. I think COVID, and we'll probably deal with that, has played a part in this situation getting worse, even because people are becoming desperate, and in their desperate times they're doing things that you would never imagine. Literally families selling their own children, or uncles selling their children off, and it's like, holy cow. What we have to do is get back, I think, to the core of what's most important, and that is that we are, just like your name says, love. We all are love, right? And that we need to share that love with others.
Yeah. I can't believe that anybody is winning. I don't think the Johns feel good afterwards. I don't think anybody feels good about it deep down. And so, yeah, I just know that some of us are ready, willing, and able. So that's a good start, you know.
Yes.
And even there's some great cases, like in Nebraska, they were doing a lot with local law enforcement and doctors, and people like that, teachers that would run into girls that are being trafficked and not even know it, because some girls they still send to school during the day and then they keep at the night and do these weird things that you wouldn't imagine, because the girls go into the school and they're forced to bring other girls to the guys. So there's like so many layers, and women will go to the doctor scared and with all sorts of bruises, and there needs to be a sort of questioning, or police especially not calling these trafficked people prostitutes, because they're not. They're human sex slaves.
Yeah.
And as children, every time you're engaging with them, it is child rape. It is pedophilia. Like, we need to call it what it is, you know.
Good point. We're going to carry this discussion further. Join us, everybody, this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live streaming on e360tv.com. We are going to be live streaming to Facebook as well. Download that for your smart TVs. You can then watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple, and Android TVs. Join us. It's going to be a powerful panel. We have a panel of 8 experts of various degrees, and they are going to share their information. It is, what is human trafficking? Answers, awareness, and prevention. Layla, we really appreciate the fact that you have joined us this evening. Thank you so very much. I'm looking forward to Sunday. And do you have a final thought here that you can share with these viewers?
I just really appreciate them taking the time to listen and to absorb this information, and I look forward to coming together more in the art of living. I love sharing the art and the things, and I hope, you know, they can make people's holidays happy, and we can be doing really good stuff at the same time to bring these women and children and girls and boys into safety, into redemption. So
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so very much. Bless you, Layla. I just honor you for what you're doing here, and I'm so proud to be affiliated with you. Remember, folks, you can go to Layla's website, LaylaLovedArt.com, and purchase those products from her store, the clothing line, the artwork. Put in LWN10 in the promo code. You'll get 10% off. And then they know that you've seen this on this show. That also will go, 50% of that money is going straight to the people that are survivors of human trafficking. And the other 50% is going to come to the LWN Foundation to help us continue to get messages like this out to the public and raise the awareness of things that are important to our communities. You are making a positive impact in the community, Layla. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening.
Can I just say one more thing really quickly?
Yes, you can.
You can also just go to the shop through riseofthebutterfly.com, which there's 2 videos on the homepage you could watch to learn more. And also you can contact us directly. I will see your email. The team will be there to respond. And, you know, if you can't donate financially, still reach out. Or even if you do donate financially, feel free to reach out. We're here to continue this in a real way. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so very much. God bless everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Good night.